want to thank Professor Zhang. Where are you? Thanks for the introduction. Okay. And then I also like to thank Professor Chen and the Lang Center for having me here, right? So what I'm going to do is to share my experience of EMI in Applied Linguistics. It's basically a course offered in Applied Foreign Language Department. And I'm also the young professor there, okay? So these, all right, let me try it again. Actually, what I'm going to talk about, first of all, these are the outlines, the major components I'm gonna cover for today's only 15 minutes talk. And the first one is about the context of this EMI course. For me, I think context determines the design of this course. So I would say context. It's about everything. It's about the context of this course because that determines how I would like to get started with this course and how I usually go through this 2 hour, because it's 2 credit hour, 2 hour class, and how students are evaluated. And lastly, I would like to conclude with my personal reflections upon this course. Okay, so the first context, okay, I think it has a lot to do with the content. Okay, if you can recall a little bit, the title of the course, it works. All right, good. The title of the course, if we can recall a little bit, the first one is research. Gosh, very scary, right? And then methodology, scarier, right? Because it involves a lot of knowledge, concepts, and steps and strategies of conducting research, right? And last one, qualitative. Oh my God, it's much, right? Scarier. And when you read words together as the course title, it's a whole lot more scary, right? So you can see this, okay? A lot of students, when you look at the course title, they all freak out. Okay, what is that about? Okay. And the second context is, this is the first and also the required course offered in this graduate school. And what does it mean? First means that they have no prior experience in graduate programs, okay? Required, what does it mean? No matter you like it or not, sorry, you have to take it, right? So it means that the students have to learn in a totally new academic and disciplinary culture, right? Because right now, they have to read a lot of papers, they told me, okay? They have to write a lot of final papers. And then also, a lot of them are actually, it's a disguise because a lot of students, apply for language departments. They must have acquired a lot of English knowledge, but which may not be true because some of them are non-English majors. All the years we have students coming from chemistry, business, military, different kinds of background. Okay, rather than English. And even though for some of them are English majors, this is not about English learning anymore. This is about social sciences. Okay, so it's a big challenge for all the students involved in this course. Okay, so the third context is about, who are they learning with? They are going to learn with a bunch of both local and international students, okay? And the context is that roughly we have about 15 to 20 minute students, okay? And many of them are, international students, both native and non-native, mainly from Southeast Asian countries, Vietnam, Malaysia, Vietnam, okay, Indonesia, and then some of them from USA and Canada. All right, so these are the contexts of this study. So because of this particular context of this course, so that matters a lot about how I would like to open up the class. So the very first class, I really try to do something for this group of students. Okay, so the first thing is that I have to think about how I'm going to get to know the students, and then they can also know each other because they are going to learn such a scary class, okay? So I'm gonna have them, first of all, to get to know each other, okay? So this is usually what I do in my very first class, okay? I will call this a format of personal profile, and it consists of 3 parts. Okay, I'm gonna go through one by one. Okay, the first one, I usually ask them to name 3 cities in the whole world. Okay, no longer in Taiwan. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that their worldview has to be expanded. They are not going to be limited in Taiwan, right? They are going to have students coming with a background from all over the world. Okay, so they get to learn their life stories, their experience before coming to the class. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, I think this is very important. Okay, first one, yes, I ask them to write a name as big as possible. And secondly, okay, if they have Chinese characters, provide the Chinese character so that I think that we have a closer relationship. And thirdly, I think this is very, very important, is that I always ask them how you would like to be called in this class. Because a lot of times when you look at international students' names, we don't even know how to pronounce them, let alone how they would like to be called. That's honestly speaking, yes. We don't know how to pronounce them. So usually they have to, I like to be called in this way. It's easier for you. I say, good, all right, I'll remember that. That's a very critical starting point, because that means I care about you, because I want to know how you will be called. I want to have more interactions with you, okay? And lastly, I think this is also very important. Yes, graduate school, you want to know research interests, but their personal hobbies too. Because those personal hobbies can be used as good examples when I try to give, like different examples to try to explain difficult concepts in my course. Very, very important, okay? And, all right, besides that, I also create a Zoom video class. And anyone here probably know about Zoom video is a teaching tool used at NTUST. And what did I do? Okay, using this software, I think these 2 features are very, very useful. One is I use that to randomly assign group members. Okay, it's not me do the assignment. Sorry, it's the software. Okay, so each time they get a chance to sit with different people. And also in this Rubio class, I think this is a very nice platform for them to work. Usually when we ask, okay, group discussion, but then what if we don't discuss? What can you do? All right, I'm saying is that you need to get it shared and published on this platform. So I get to know if you don't have any outcome, sorry, I will definitely know that, okay? And then I also create a line group. This is also very important too. So what did I do? For in this line group, I send them weekly reminder, oh, this is what we'll be doing. And for a lot of immediate communication to get things communicated, also send them the seat arrangement every week so they know who to sit with, okay, for a particular week. All right, and I think the most important part is that I want them to feel that nobody here is alone. We are a learning community. Everybody's here. Okay, if you have any questions, I'm here for you. All right. For example, I also use Line, so don't worry about the photos, okay? I use Line to ask permission. Whether or not it's okay to post the Line photos here, okay? They gave me the permission here. All right, so what do I do for this 2-hour class, all right? So the first thing I try to do is, okay, in this class, students definitely have to work. So what do they do before they come to the class? Since I have said this many, many times, this is the course content is not that easy, okay? So what do? This is like detailed instruction on their weekly reading log. It means they have to read before coming to the class. It's the same like Professor Kong. They have to watch video clip. But in this class, yes, you can watch the video clips offered by other well-known instructors, no problem, okay? But you still need to read materials, okay, before coming to the class. And reading, how would I know you have read or not, okay? 2 major things. The first one is they have to give me a summary of their reading materials, okay? And how would I know they have read it or not? They have to summarize using their own words. They cannot copy from somewhere else. I always tell them, I can tell if those are your words or from somewhere else, okay? And why? It's not going to be long, up, down. It's not going to be long. It's going to be quite short. What happened? Are we going up or down? All right here. It's because it's the amount of the words needed for a proposal and even for their thesis abstract, and that's why, right? 250 words and 300, okay? And lastly, I think this is very important. Since it's so difficult, the material is so difficult to understand, so I offer them a space for them to ask me questions. Okay, every week, regarding every piece of assignment, ask me questions, okay? So what do I do with their questions? If they ask and they are not answered, they are not gonna ask questions anymore, okay? So what I did is that I try to organize all their questions and I read through all their questions. I organize their questions into handouts before the class, okay? And then when they first come to the class, each one of them will have the handouts. Okay, this is the first time they have the chance to have a very small group if they are scared. But it's a small group. You have questions, I have questions. Let me talk about my question. You might be able to answer my question, and I might be able to help you out. Okay, so that's the first round of dealing with the difficult material, right? And the second one is that I also offer them questions. But the questions are not whatever questions. The questions are here because I know by reading their questions, more than half the students have difficulty understanding the concept or this part of the material. And that become the questions for them to discuss in the groups. Okay, so basically I come to the class knowing everyone's question. When I sit in front of everybody, I know you have this question, I know you have. Okay, so then they sit in groups and discuss the commonly have questions, right? And you might wonder, I think one of the audience this morning asked, so what about you, instructor? What do you do? What do you do? Do you lecture? Okay, since this is such difficult material, are you going to say anything? Yes, I do offer my lecture, all right? But my lecture is that this is what I try to do. I think I offer my lectures after they have finished reading, after they really articulate their questions on their reading log, after they have speaking out in the peer discussion, after they have thoroughly discussed and upload their outcomes of discussion on Zoom. And that's my time, all right? Here comes the instructor. And even before I offer my lecture, I can actually just walk by and I'm like a spy, right? Listening. Oh, this is how this group deal with the question. This is how you respond to the question. And I collect all the responses and I know what has been addressed, what hasn't been addressed. Okay, and then I'm like a conductor. Hey, this group, I heard that you said something like this. Why don't you share your response like this? Okay, and then finally, they will be very eager to listen to me, right? After all the work here. What about you? What is your perspective? So then everybody will be very attentive. So tell me, what is your perspective, right? So my lecture will be not boring, right? They will be paying great attention to what I'm going to say in the end. So that's basically how we covered this difficult material, okay? All right, I think how students are evaluated, I'm going to, since I only have 1 minute, right? 1 minute? Okay. So I'm gonna talk about, yes, the students are evaluated by their midterm, by their final, but the students also evaluated the course, okay? So the first one, I've been teaching this course for more than 5 years, and I think I gradually, hopefully, by receiving all the comments from the students, and I gradually improve the course a little bit, and I take this averages as something positive, I hope, okay? And I like to look at, I'm sorry, these words are not clear, but basically I think what students cherish this course a lot is that they think that this course offers very clear, detailed instruction about the concept and what they need to do. And they enjoy a lot about the peer and the group discussion. And they say, yes, although this is intense, a lot of assignments, somebody is smiling, yes, but they enjoying having this, the course with the detailed instruction. But they offer some suggestions. They ask, why not a 3-hour course? Why not 2? Everything jammed together within 2 hours, okay? And my reflection, finally, I used to think I want to cover everything, But right now, gradually, I know I need to be selective. I need to think about, in fact, what they needed for their master thesis. What are some of the essential content I need to cover for this course? And then for the rest of the time, instead of giving more lectures, I provide them workshops so they can really use all the concepts and knowledge learned in the course to conduct and implement qualitative data analysis. Okay, and then writing the outcomes. I think that's pretty much what I like to share, and thanks for listening, and your questions are very welcome. Thank you.